Hello, fellow movie crusaders, and welcome to a special episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. As you know, my name's Sean Waskrug, and first time here today, we got fellow movie crusader Jay Burnz. Jay, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm a little under the weather. I've had a cold for like the last month. It's really been kicking my ass, but I am ready to talk about this movie, my good man.
Yes, I'm excited to have you, and I'm sure everyone out there who knows you out there in the communities are excited to see you finally on Sean's Movie Crusades. We've been trying to get you on for a while now, and now we finally got you on, and this is the first of many that you're going to be on the show. And I'm glad we got you on for this episode. For many of you guys saw the video pop up here about a day or two ago, my non-spoiler review of Jojo Rabbit. You guys know that I was very, very high on it, but this movie has a lot to actually talk about with the film, and Jay and I are going to really dissect it. So this is your warning right now that this is a Jojo Rabbit spoiler review. So if you guys have not seen Jojo Rabbit, or if you guys don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this video yet. Wait till you've seen the video. Come on back, because Jay and I are going to really dive deep into this film. If you guys just want to know how the movie is, pop on back over to the video page and just click on my non-spoiler, and you will basically be able to get all that right there, because Jay and I are going to go into this deep. So there's your warning. This is a spoiler review, and let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, for me, Jay, I know you're a huge Taika Waititi fan.
I am.
What's your, not counting Jojo Rabbit, what's your favorite Taika Waititi film?
Oh man, What We Do in the Shadows holds a really, really dear place in my heart. I'm not gonna lie. I like Hunt for the Wilder People, but What We Do in the Shadows is probably my favorite Taika Waititi film. No.
And I actually have to thank you for that, because you made me watch What We Do in the Shadows. I've never seen Hunt of the Wilder People, so like my introduction to Taika was Thor Ragnarok. That was my introduction to him, and then after that, the What We Do in the Shadows TV show came on, and I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. And you're like, dude, you really got to watch the movie.
If you like the TV show, you'll love the movie.
Yeah, and I loved the show. I thought the show was hilarious, and I watched the movie. The movie was just as good. And you and I have had our Thor Ragnarok arguments. Everyone on here knows I like Thor Ragnarok. I don't think it's the best thing that everyone makes it out to be. I have issues with the way Taika did it in certain respects, but I respect for what he did. I respect how he did it. There were just certain things that I didn't like in terms of his decision making, but I think Taika is a great director overall, especially with What We Do in the Shadows. I think he's got almost kind of like The Office meets like Wes Anderson.
I can see it.
Like that's
especially
like,
with What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, it's that, and I kind of feel like with Jojo Rabbit, it's kind of like a Wes Anderson, like Moonrise Kingdom, with Taika spin on it, which is, and I mean that in a positive way, very positive way.
I get that, and I want to bring up a couple of other parallels that I've seen to this movie, but I don't want to do that right.
No, not yet. We'll get there. We'll definitely get into that. Now, so yeah, we got Taika out of the way. Because coming from me, I mean, I'm not a seriously religious person myself, but I was brought up Jewish. So Nazi films, especially pro-Nazi films, aren't movies that I really enjoy or look out to watch. Like, I personally have still never seen Schindler's List because I did not want to see that. The movie Valkyrie I went and saw, but I was just pissed off the whole time watching it because the Nazis won in that movie. But yeah, so it's like when I saw this movie and I was like, Taika's going to play Hitler. It's like, I know Taika's going to be funny, but it was just like, I wasn't sure if this movie was going to be for me. What were your thoughts about it when you saw like the first initial trailer and what it was going to be compared to obviously what we ended up getting?
So I saw the Red Band trailer first, where Jojo steals the grenade and like they do the jump and Taika Waititi's just doing that. He's doing his little dance thing.
Yeah,
the entire segment. And I was like,
Brian,
okay, this movie's gonna be hilarious. And then I watched the movie. I have family members who are from all religious backgrounds. Personally, not so much myself, but I know some of my Jewish family members were a little hesitant about this, but they've watched trailers and they've watched interviews, and they're like, the way that they're presenting this, even just the way they're talking about it makes them want to see this movie.
I mean, my dad's the same way. My dad is Jewish, and I showed him the trailer, and first shot he sees Taika come down in the frame as Hitler, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" I go, just watch it. And even honestly, like, I mean, I'm jumping a little ahead here, but even the first 20, 30 minutes of the film, I was watching. I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this because it's so pro-Nazi stuff. And even you were like, dude, just because I messaged you, I was like, Jay, I don't know if I'm going to get into this, you know. And you're like, dude, just give it, just keep going. Trust me, you're gonna love it. And you were right. Like, it's like once I just got that stigma out of my brain, and I kind of watched, I was like, they're making fun of them. They are. They're really making fun of them. And once I noticed that, and I started paying attention to it a little bit more, instead of just going immediately annoyed and angry because of it being Nazis, it was a whole different experience for me watching it all overall. And I think that's going to be the main problem with this film is that people aren't going to give it a chance. They're going to see it's Nazi Germany. They're going to see that it's very pro-Nazi in terms of how it is, and obviously Adolf being looked at as a kind of a goofy, lovable character in a sense. And I feel like that it's gonna hurt the box office scores in a sense when it comes out. Now, award recognition will probably bring everyone rolling in late, but like I said, this movie just came out, and I feel like it's gonna really hurt it in a sense. But once we start seeing nominations, because this movie's gonna get nominated. This
movie's definitely going to get nominated.
Yeah, it's definitely, whether it be for picture, director, or even with the cast, because there are certain cast members I'm like, they're getting nominated.
See, I think what they might do, and this is probably the longest stretch for a nomination that it'll get, because this movie is based off of a book.
Yeah.
So there's a very high possibility that this movie, granted it's not a true to page adaptation, but there's a very high possibility that this gets an adapted screenplay nomination.
Oh, I totally think it will.
Oh,
based off of everything that's been out here so far,
yeah,
I feel like it's a front runner for that.
I think Waititi gets one. I think best adapted screenplay gets one. And I'm not gonna lie, ScarJo.
I agree. ScarJo is amazing in this film. I would love for Roman or Thomasin to get one, but obviously they're not, and it sucks. But it's just they're not.
They might like if Anna Paquin can win Best Actress.
Golden Globes they will. I feel like Golden Globes one of them might.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You know, they're not afraid to give a child a gigantic award like this, and we haven't really seen anything like that in a while. Because it was Anna Paquin was the last person. She was 11 years old.
No, you had the what was it?
It's
Beast of No Nation. The little girl from Beast of No Nation or something like that. Like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I will check ourselves.
Yeah, I think she got nominated. And then did Tremblay get nominated for Room?
Tatum O'Neal is the youngest.
Well, yeah, youngest. But I mean, when was the last little?
When was the last time it happened?
Yeah, when was the last like teenager to young adult nomination? Like I said, I thought did Tremblay get nominated for Room?
Quvenzhané Wallis.
Yeah, and that was for Beast of No Nation, right?
Beast of Southern Wild.
That's it. Yeah, so that was like 2-3 years ago. So yeah, it's not that they're not. It's not that they don't get nominated. It's just that, and I mean, perfectly honest, based off of what we've seen so far, I mean, we still haven't hit the Oscar stretch of the season yet. But
we're knocking on the door.
We are probably just weeks out from starting to get hit just with all of them. But I mean, as of I mean, as of right now, where we are at. I mean, in terms of Best Actor, I mean, there's only really 2 people that are standing out to me currently, and that's Taron Egerton for Rocketman and Joaquin for Joker. I mean, we could go ahead.
Granted, I know it hasn't come out yet, and it won't. You can't knock Hanks.
I just haven't seen it yet.
I know, but it's it's the Academy Awards.
No, I mean he's locked in. I just said from what we've seen so far.
Oh, from what we've seen so
What
far,
we've
yeah,
seen
no.
so far.
Roman really, to me, has a very good shot at least a nod. You know, you're saying Golden Globes. I would, and it's really difficult, especially with child actors, because people are like, oh, well, you know, he's a kid, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. He's not blocky in this movie. He does a really good job in this movie. And yes, it starts out you don't really like the kid, and then you grow to kid. Oh yeah, he's literally a little fucking Nazi.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to punch this kid every 5 seconds. Like when he was with his buddies. Yes. When he's with his buddies, he's like the nicest, sweetest little kid. But then like he's at home, it's like I want to punch this kid in the face. But he goes through such a character arc through this. You know, and like you said, it's one of your favorite coming of age films of all time. He literally is coming of age. He is a little kid, and Thomasin as Elsa even says it in the movie. You're a kid pretending to be a Nazi because you think it's cool. Therefore, you're dressing up like one and trying to be one, but you're not. And him having to kind of come to terms with that, and then a certain part having the film, which we will get to, and just watching that transformation for him, I thought was fantastic. And even Thomasin, I thought her performance was awesome. And you know who I think he's a long shot to get nominated, but I loved his performance. What's up?
Don't say Rockwell.
I loved Rockwell.
I love Rockwell in this. I loved Rockwell in this. I don't think he's gonna get it. I think
he has a lot of great little moments.
We'll talk about it when we get there. There's a couple of really like small things about his character that I noticed that I don't think like a lot of people may have picked up on.
There's a big one that I picked up.
Well, no, there's definitely a big one, but there's a small little small little hints and details to his attire at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people, unless they studied their world history, would actually pick up on.
Probably not. I mean, let's be honest. I'd say about 60-70% of the people probably watching this film are not looking at it as for historical purposes of it. But yeah, so like let's go ahead and let's jump into it. I mean, I think we're about 13 minutes in and we haven't even talked about the actual movie. We're talking about we're like going around it. We're not going into it.
Around the bush.
Yeah, so obviously the general plot of the film is obviously we're in Nazi Germany. It follows the story of Jojo, played by Roman Griffin Davis, and he's in a what I can never say the word right. Jay, you're usually the wordsmith of the two of us. What's the school he's in? What's it called?
So basically, it's not a school. It's like
a camp.
He's going to a Nazi youth camp.
Yeah, it's like Boy Scouts for Nazis.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, and so he's
for lack of a better term.
Exactly. He's 10. His mother, played by Scarlett Johansson. I mean, she plays Rosie. She's kind of labeled as a badass. Like everyone's like terrified of her in this film. But yeah, Jojo's kind of like that one kid. It's like they're gonna just kind of deal with him because of who Rosie is, in a sense. But he's just kind of he's this sweet little kid who wants to play superhero or super Nazi, in a sense. And to the point where he has an imaginary friend played by Taiki Waititi, who's a lovable and goofy Adolf Hitler.
I mean, up to a certain
point. There's a change.
There is a massive change.
Yes, there is. But at least for the first half of the film, he's a highlight of the movie. But yeah, and then Jojo, basically halfway through the film, finds out that his mother Rosie is basically holding, or that's not the term, not holding.
Safekeeping.
Thank you. Safekeeping a young Jewish girl named Elsa, who ended up being, was it best friends with Jojo's deceased sister?
Yeah.
They were friends. And it's basically a conflict with Jojo as he's falling through, because like, does he turn her in? But if he turns her in, he gets his mom in trouble. If he doesn't, then he's turning his back on the Nazis, and there's a whole conflict, a huge conflict for a 10-year-old in this film. But yeah, I mean that's the general kind of plot of Jojo Rabbit, is this kid who wants to be a Nazi more than anything in the world. He has an imaginary friend that's basically Adolf Hitler, and his mother is safely hiding a Jewish girl, and it's basically him coming to terms and figuring out what to do with the movie. I mean, I don't think we can get much more basic of a plot than that without going super, super deep, which we're going to. But in terms of a plot, that's the basic plot of Jojo Rabbit. Now, Jay, since you're new to this, and I want the people to kind of get a nice big pile of Joe Burnz in this, what did you like about Jojo Rabbit?
There wasn't a lot I didn't like about this movie. The dynamic between Scarlett Johansson and what's his name, Roman
Griffin Davis.
Roman Griffin Davis is just it's incredible the way she works with children. Like you definitely tell like there's that, so that the mother dynamic there having to play both roles when she does the whole dressing up as the father.
That was such a good
does the ash across the face and pretends to be both characters. Is a fantastic scene to me. Taika Waititi knows how to work with the younger audiences. When he did it with, I cannot remember his name from.
It's the kid from Deadpool.
Yes, it is the kid from Deadpool 2.
I'll look it up here real quick.
But he knows how to work with kids. Sam Rockwell is literally, he's one of my favorite characters in this movie.
Julian Dennison is the kid's name.
Julian Dennison, thank you. From Hunt from the Wilder People.
Yeah.
But Sam Rockwell's dynamic with Jojo is great. I don't, there's a lot going on in this. There's not a lot I didn't like about this movie. Even the music choices. The I Want to Hold Your Hand, sung in German by the Beatles.
It took me halfway through to realize, is this in German? Oh, yes, it is in German.
It is in German.
I just heard it, and my brain immediately just knew that it was the Beatles, and then I was like, oh, this isn't even in English.
No, this is in German, and it works really well.
Oh yeah, it does.
The relationship that Thomasin McKenzie and Roman Davies have is fantastic. Like, they work really well together.
Yeah, absolutely.
This cast is brought together and it just works incredibly well for me. As much as her accent kind of took me out of it because it dropped a lot, and I think that's one of the things that I didn't like about it. But Rebel Wilson as Fraulein Rom in this worked for me. Like, she had just lines, just one-liners, and I was like, that's messed up, but it's hilarious.
Let me
actually liked her in.
Let me stop you right there on Rebel Wilson. I personally cannot stand Rebel Wilson. Like, she's good in, like, I liked her in Pitch Perfect. But it was one of those things where it was kind of like she was good in that, so let's force her onto everybody. And it was one of those things where it was like, okay, she was good in Pitch Perfect because she had a great assortment cast working around her with Anna Kendrick and
that's where she works best, though.
Exactly. She works better with an assorted cast, but then they try to force her as a main actress, and it was just like, you don't have that. You're not Melissa McCarthy. You're not there yet. Because Melissa McCarthy, at first she worked best as being part of ensemble cast, and then once she kind of got that hook, then Melissa McCarthy could have her own thing. Spy and Heat were great, but even then, she's good with another person. Like when she does her own thing, like Happy Time Murders, it doesn't work.
You know what? I am one of the few people on the face of the planet that actually liked that movie.
I liked it when they actually tried to have a dynamic between her and the puppet as a partner, but when they tried to go with the over-the-top humor, it didn't work for me. But even with that, like, she needed someone to kind of not piggyback up, but kind of tag team. But like with Spy, she had Rose Byrne. With Bridesmaids, obviously she had the whole group. With The Heat, she had Sandra Bullock. And with Rebel Wilson's, like she had The Hustle earlier this year with Anne Hathaway, but that movie just didn't work. But I mean, most of the time, like, they just put her in a movie and they just expect us just to be on Rebel Wilson, and they're not giving her a good counter, a co-pilot with her movies.
But they don't really give her good dialogue.
That too, like, it's just kind of the same jokes with her every 5 seconds. It's just like, if the first one didn't hit, you got to move on, and they don't. There's like, we're just gonna keep throwing the same joke. But I loved her in this.
here's your prescription bag and here's your gun. Like, perfect line, bro.
Yes.
I've had 18 children for the Nazis. This year has been a good year. Like, damn, she's got some zingers in this movie, bro, and it works for me, thankfully.
That whole part at the pool where she's like, I heard that, yes, they can control. And then she's like,
it works. Sometimes physical comedy like that works.
And then she goes over like, yeah, he cheated, but and then he died. But that wasn't related. Just like,
it was still magic.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, I love that. Like at the very end when the whole battle is happening, and she's like all the kids, she's like, put this on. Here's your gun. Go
hug somebody.
Go hug. Oh my god! When I saw that, I was like,
oh, dude, I was dying. I was like, that's the most messed up thing I've ever seen.
And the kid was just like, okay.
Oh,
she was great. I actually really liked Rebel Wilson in this, and then yeah, and you know who I thought was funny, even though they didn't have a whole lot of lines, was Alfie Allen.
Alfie Allen, yes.
Alfie Allen was great. He doesn't get a whole lot to do. Yes, as Finkel. He doesn't get a whole lot to do, but when he does, he knocks it out of the park. I love Alf. At the end with the big reveal of Rockwell's uniform, and he's holding the fucking boombox, like little horse thing.
Oh, you said Rockwell. It sounded like you said Rob Lowe.
Oh no, Rockwell. When Rockwell has the big reveal, he's wearing his outfit, and Finkel's behind him with the fucking boom, like well, it's not a boom box, but you know what I'm talking about.
The phonograph.
Yes. I was like, and then that one moment where he was just he brought the German Shepherds.
I meant the dogs, not actual German Shepherds.
I feel so stupid. It's okay. It's a stupid name for dogs.
I
loved it.
That's perfect delivery between the two of them.
Oh yeah.
I will give it to Taika. He knows how to blend comedy and drama really well, and then you put two people in there like Alfie Allen and like Sam Rockwell and allow them to bounce off of each other.
Yeah, two people you did not expect.
It elevates the script, and they did such an amazing job.
Now you brought up Sam Rockwell earlier. You're like, there were certain things. Let's touch on that. What was your issue?
Oh, I don't have an issue.
Okay, well, you're like, no, kind of thing. I love Sam Rockwell's character. Captain Klenzendorf. I think if I'm Kleisendorf. Okay, I loved his character. And I loved like how just every scene we got something new out of him.
He's a scene stealer, most assuredly.
Oh, absolutely. No, but I meant like at first we're like, oh, he's this gung ho, injured war hero, and then the next scene, he's a little bit different, and then he's a little bit different, and you're like, oh crap,
is the inept guard from Hogan's Heroes is the exact character that he plays in this movie.
Heroes.
And it's not that I hate it. Mm-hmm. I actually really like it, and he's brought a little bit of depth to the character. Like when he's looking at Elsa's fake papers, when he's looking at Jojo's sister's papers, and she gives him the wrong date.
Mm-hmm.
That was. And he just looks at it and looks back up. He's like, "That is correct," and like goes to nothing else. And I'm just like. Okay, and then I don't want to talk about the next couple of scenes just yet.
We will hold on that. But like even when they were like when she first showed up, she's like, "Oh, I'm his sister." It's like, dude, he knows Rosie. He knows that their daughter. So it was like he was onto it from the get-go. But like there was that one scene when Jojo, I think it's when Jojo is talking about his book, and and he makes fun of the book, and then he's just like, dude, he's like, why are you worrying about this? Like, no, I'm like, he's trying to, he's like, you can see that even he, like Rosie is trying, like he's a Nazi because he's a soldier, but you can tell he's not fully into it anymore or backed into it. He's like, he's even trying to make Jojo kind of just see how ridiculous this is.
Well, I think that's the reason why he is as inept as he is at his job.
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously, Jojo gets blown up in the first 20 minutes of the movie by a grenade, horribly
disfigured. It was like, holy crap. And that one moment
he looks down at it and he says, shit.
Yeah, and then like when they're doing like the hospital and the Adolf's running behind him, and he goes,
and he just gives him a thumbs up.
and he goes, ooh, when it's all bloody. I love that part. That was such a great part.
So here's one thing, and it's not like they try to hide it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
He's gay.
Oh, 100%.
Him and Alfie Allen are 100% together.
Absolutely. When they have that one moment where they're like looking at each other, and then they notice Jojo
feeding him. Yeah, when he walks in right before, he's like, "Oh, I'd love to be conscripted." He's literally got a fork up with food, and he's trying to feed Allen's character.
Yes.
There's another big reveal, like, so that gives you the hint right there. But if you look at his final costume, when he's standing on the pile and he's shooting his machine gun, and his cape is blowing in the wind, there are pink triangles on the cape. And I
didn't notice that. I just noticed he had the feathers.
For that is aerodynamics.
Aerodynamics, yes.
So he's got pink triangles,
and he's got eyeliner.
Well, so pink triangles during Nazi Germany denoted that you were homosexual. So like they were literally, Taiki Waititi was literally not trying to hide it at that point. And they were just like, yeah, no, he's straight up gay. He's just.
Well, I mean, at that point, I think Klenzendorf. Yeah, we'll say Rockwell. I think at that point Rockwell was expecting to die. So
as soon as he knew that they were coming through,
like if we're gonna go die, let's go out the way we want to go out. Exactly. And then that moment at the end for him, when he literally,
that might be the one thing that gets him the nod.
I think when I think of two scenes, I think of that scene, and like I said, I think of that scene where he's sitting at his table, and he's trying to kind of talk to Jojo, and you can see he's just kind of like, dude, like, come on, man, you have to let this go, kind of thing. Like almost to the point where I think he knows that Rosie has Elsa. I think he knew at that point.
He was a part of it.
And and I think so when he's like, "Oh yeah, this book, keep going with this because it's fucking ridiculous." But we'll make a funny joke, You know, like Turner's like, "Yeah, go right ahead and do that. Be as ridiculous as you want to be." Because it's like if he's those two scenes, like, but that last scene was brilliant and heartbreaking. Yeah, heartbreaking was the word I was going to use. Because that's the thing with this movie, it's incredibly joyful at points, hilarious, but rips your heart out. And we'll get to the big one later. I don't want to drop that.
Yeah, I would much rather talk about the end of this movie before we talk about that.
Yeah, because that,
that's where this movie takes a serious.
Yes, it does.
Turn.
Yes, it does. But yeah, with Rockwell's final moments, just he knows that they're about to get killed.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you doing here?" Which at that point, I mean, I'm assuming Finkel's dead. We never saw Finkel.
Go home, Jojo.
Yeah.
And then strips the coat off him and calls him a Jew and pushes him. Yeah.
Oh yes, such a great. And then Jojo screaming bloody murder. He's like, trying to, save him, and then you just hear the gunshots in the distance, and you're just like, fuck.
Well, let's be real. That's Jojo's one father figure throughout this entire movie.
It is, and
they have that dynamic.
Yeah, they do, because he looks to him as a father figure outside of Adolf, but Adolf's not real. And I think even like halfway through the film, like Jojo realizes that, obviously, but it's just like
that's why he starts acting a little more clingy in his head.
Exactly,
because he's trying to hold on to this.
The Nazi side of him is trying to stay a hold while he's starting to see everything in real color, and Adolf is Adolf is basically his Nazi side of his inner personality, trying to grab on and try to be forceful with it. Which is brilliant in terms of psyche, in terms of a child character, which I thought was another brilliant take that Taika took on. Like I said, there's so many fucking layers to this film. It's ridiculous. But
it's really divisive with like a lot of critics. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh no, it's pro-Nazi," to the point where it's almost anti-Semitic.
That's the thing. I feel like some people just don't. We're like you and I. We're watching it in different perspectives, and we're seeing this. And I think some people just like I said. The first 20 minutes,
Nazis, and they're like, "Oh, Nazis."
Which first 20 minutes, I was like that, and then finally, I just kind of what had happened, and I'm gonna say this helped is I had to go to the bathroom,
okay,
and I left at a moment. And I was going to the bathroom, and I was just like, you just got to get over this deal. And that's what I texted you. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm digging this. And you said, hey, just give it a moment. And I was like, all right, just go in and just kind of go. And then as soon as I did, I was able to start seeing things differently. And that's that stigma. It's like, you got to get over that fact. If you get over that fact, you're going to see how many layers this film actually has. And I think that, and I agree, that's why the reviews are so diverse. Like, people who, if you come at it one way, yeah, it's not going to work for you as a film. But if you come at it openly, like you and I, or you eventually got me to go to it, and you were at fully, then yeah, this movie's freaking one of the best movies of the year, hands down. And it's like I said, that's what I feel like that's going to be the issue with box office, is that you're going to have those people, or you're going to have those people, those Trump people who are like pro-Nazi, and they're going to go, this is making fun of us, this kind of thing. You know, it's gonna piss off people. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna do a lot of things.
I think those people who just watch like reviews like what we're doing right now,
yeah,
or like, you know, even the bigger names out there, and like they get turned off and they don't want to see the movie, shouldn't really, I don't want to say shouldn't have a voice, but if you're not gonna watch the movie, I don't think you should be able to be like, oh no, I'm not gonna watch this movie because Nazis. That's not a good enough reason for you to not watch this movie, especially if you don't understand what's going on in the movie itself. You're just like, I'm not going to watch it because there's Nazis in it. Okay.
Like, which, I mean, and I'm partially kind of there too. Like I said, I've never seen Schindler's List because of that. And Schindler's List is labeled as one of the greatest films of all time. But I'm still just like, I don't want to watch. It's not that I don't recognize that it's a fantastic film. I don't want to just be in that mindset.
I feel it, but I also think that this is a completely different.
Oh no, yeah, totally different. I'm just saying, like some people like say, like you said, because it's Nazi. I was like, I'm kind of with certain films like Schindler's List. This one, because of what I had seen and because of the cast, I was like, I gotta check this out. Yeah. You know, and then you got to see it before me, and you're like, bro, I love this movie. I'm like, okay, if Jay liked it, then I gotta at least check this out and see what he's talking about. And then obviously,
coming of age movie.
Oh yeah, and I 100% agree with you. Like when you first said that, I was like,
Sing Street, Jojo, 3, 2, 1.
Wait, what was that?
Breakfast Club is my number 3.
Oh, okay.
Sing Street is my number 2. Jojo Rabbit has inked out Sing Street.
I would say I don't have an actual ranking per se, but both Sing Street, Jojo, Edge of 17 is right there. I loved Haley Steinfeld and Edge of 17. That's one of my favorite films of 2017. I'm sure there are others out there that we are not even talking about right now. That are probably like, oh crap, I forgot about this one.
We'll hear it in the comments, trust me.
Oh, sure. If we actually get comments, that's the one thing I keep asking people to do. Leave your comments. I get like one.
don't sound salty. You're sounding like
not being salty. It's I want people to. I like people to have a voice. I don't want you guys to be trolls and attack, but I like open dialogue. I like conversation, and we're not getting that so far yet. But who knows? Maybe with this video, with the Jay Burnz crowd, it'll come. Especially with a diverse film like this. So yes, leave your comments. Don't troll. Don't be a dick. But yeah, let's have a conversation. Let's have fun with it. And who knows? Maybe we'll if we get a lot of comments on it, we'll come back on you and me, and we'll do an open dialogue based off of the questions or comments people had. You know, because this is a movie that deserves to be talked about. It deserves to have this discussion. Like heck, we're 34 minutes in, and we've only gone over a little bit of the movie itself because there's just so much to go through. Let's go. We went over Rockwell, we went over Rebel, we went over Alfie. Let's talk about Taika.
Hold on, before we talk about Taika, I think there's one other person that really deserves mention here that only appears for a very small portion of this movie.
I know where you're going. Is it Merchant?
It's Stephen Merchant.
It's
Stephen Merchant. That entire Gestapo scene is like low-key subtle funny. It's not one of the it's like subtle, one of the most tense,
but it's also intense. Yeah.
It's one of the most tense, funny things I've ever seen. You know, he's like, I've got my entire entourage behind me, and they're all like, Haila, Like, and it goes on.
That
like,
joke into like a drum, but it worked.
It worked every time.
Yes.
Rockwell's character is like, oh, I have to carry my bike this entire way. And he puts out a cigarette. He walks in the door carrying his bike, smoking a cigarette.
Just
and then
so random.
And they go through everything again. And I'm just like.
Which also further proves that he knew that Elsa was there. Because why would Rockwell show up? I don't think Finkel knew, in a sense. I don't know Finkel. You think Finkel knew?
Finkel's last name ends in like. It's a stereotypically Jewish name. I don't think I ever
heard the name. It's like, and IMDb it just says Finkel
or something like that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, if you go back in like obviously I'm gonna buy this movie on Blu-ray.
Oh, absolutely.
I love this movie, and I'm gonna go back and watch it. But it's like one of those almost stereotypical like German Jewish last names.
Oh, okay.
It ends in Berg. Not like I'm not trying to. But
it's just like his character plays aloof so much of the film that it's like he might just be going along with it because it's Rockwell, and not because he actually knows what the fuck's going on. And he might know, but that's just one of those things. Like that was another big hint that Rockwell knew, and it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, as long as they don't find the door, they'll be fine. And then all of a sudden she walks out. I'm like, oh my god!
That's that. Right there, literally, my heart jumped into my throat. I was like, what?
And then, but then as soon as she did, I was like, she was just studying his sister's photo because she was doing the tilt. She's like, oh, I have an idea. But yeah, when she did it, I was like, oh no! Like, what is gonna happen?
And then she came down wearing his sister's clothes.
Yeah,
which was really smart. Rockwell even drops a hint that he knows when he's like, "Oh, get the new picture. You look like a ghost."
Yeah, I like that.
And I'm like,
yeah,
does he know? And then like once the next big thing happens, that's when I was like, okay, did he drop? Did he sell them out? And then
did he sell them out to not get caught himself, kind of thing? Maybe.
That's really what it came down to. That's really what I was worried about. But the way that he interacts with him
definitely didn't happen.
Roman Davies after that, there's no way that happened. There's
definitely
no way.
Not. Okay, I got a question for you, because this is one thing that if I had to look at a negative on the film, and it could have just been I missed the dialogue.
Okay.
Is his dad dead, or is his dad just still out there somewhere?
So they talk about this, but they never really give you the definitive answer.
Yes, like they talk about it, but like, did I miss the definitive answer or not?
He switched sides and is working with the Allies and is trying to protect Jews in Italy.
But we never know what happened to him.
They never 100% give a definitive he's dead. But from the way they talked about it, it's kind of like Elsa's boyfriend.
But Elsa's boyfriend died. She said he died.
I know.
Okay.
But you kind of have that inkling that either the boyfriend's not real or the boyfriend's dead or the fiance is dead at that point. But it's not until, after the real, I want to say, tonal shift of this movie comes that you find out that he's actually dead. And I think like they used that as a similarity, a parallel for Jojo's dad as well.
And part of me even felt that he was dead to a point with like, especially the Rosie dad scene.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you could tell she was hurt by it. And it's maybe because she probably knows that he's gone and she doesn't want Jojo to know, but it's never laid out. And that was one of those things. She was like, it's like, oh, they just kind of left that open. And I was like, I don't know if that ever gets explained in the book, because obviously I never read the book.
I haven't personally read the book.
Yeah,
at this point, that was like, I'm gonna pick the book up.
Oh yeah, I was like, if there was one nitpick I had, is that they constantly drop the father's name, not his name per se, but they constantly drop the father throughout the film, and we never got a definitive conclusion to that. That's just a storyline that just is left completely open. It's like now, like at the end of the movie, they're like, we're going to go to my father. Like, then, okay, cool. Bam, we got it. But we don't. Like, yeah, they're just dancing and having fun. And that's where it ends. I think it's a beautiful ending. But it was just like, for me, it's like the father part. I'm just like, why didn't we, like, either you gave it to us and we didn't catch it, which could very well be. Like I said, the Rosie thing might have, I kind of picked up of maybe he might have been dead. But we don't know. And so if I had to find a negative in it, that was like the one thing, was there wasn't enough inkling of the dad for it to have been dropped so many times in the film itself.
See, I think they kind of give it to us just like the way Jojo latches on to every real strong paternal figure in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think even deep down, he knows that his father's dead. He just doesn't want to accept it, so he is looking for somebody to fill that void.
Which could also be why he uses Adolf as an imaginary friend.
You know, and he clings so hard to Sam Rockwell's character as well. I think the reason why he gets as emotional as he does over Sam Rockwell and the firing squad scene is because he knows that he's losing
another
dad, basically, essentially.
But then he kicked his other dad out of the window. Yeah. He totally does.
That was great.
That was great.
He kicked him like he was the Hulk, bro.
It was so good.
Yeah, he kicked him like he was the Hulk, bro. I laughed my ass off.
And before we get to Taika, because we still have to hit Taika, Scarlett, and then a little bit more of Roman and Thomasin, Archie Yates as Yorkie. Yorkie, he's one of those guys, like, I would love a best friend like Yorkie. Like, he reminded me of, when I was a kid, I was like, if I could, like, obviously I got a best friend. His name's Ryan. I've known him for 24 years. But it's like when you were a kid, before you had that best friend, you're like, I want this kid to be, and it was always the, blanking on his name, Angels in the Outfield. Not Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but the other kid.
I'm not going to be able to pull his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not going to pull it. I'm not going to look it up. But it's like that kid was like, I want that kid to be my best friend. Yorkie is like that kid. Yorkie is loyal. He's adorable. And he's funny as hell.
Oh, hi, Jojo.
Oh, God. He drops the RPG.
It's not a good time to be a Nazi. Bro,
is that paper? It's paper like.
Made by top scientists.
And then when he shows back up, he's got a huge hole in his back.
When he's like, oh God, I can't run in this thing.
It's just so hard to
so
run.
robotic. Oh, dude.
But then, like, even the one point, the night that they're still at the camp.
Yeah.
And he's all like, "You're my best friend." He's like, "You're my second best friend." It was such a sad scene. It's just like, oh.
Unless you're a fat kid, unless you're Hitler trapped in a fat kid body, you're my second best friend, and that's not bad. No, I'm just a kid trapped in a fat kid's body. I'm just like, as a fat kid myself, I felt that.
I was like, oh, bro, but yeah, this kid was.
I felt that was great.
I wish we had more Yorkie. Like, I get why he wasn't in it because, and that's the funny thing too is like even when Jojo goes, "I trapped a Jew girl. We're girlfriends now." He's like, "That's great." It's like you can tell even Yorkie was not even like a Nazi. Yorkie's just in it to have fun and friends. And he was like, "That's awesome." Yeah, like I just love that Yorkie was just always supportive of Jojo, no matter what. There was never a moment where Yorkie wasn't 100% pro Jojo in the film. I love that.
Shout out, get you a friend like Yorkie.
Yes. Hashtag Yorkie is your best friend that you should strive for.
Hashtag Yorkie is your boy.
Yes. Fat kid in a fat boy suit, Yorkie all the way.
Fat boy in a paper suit.
Paper light. Paper light.
Top scientists.
Don't forget that paper light. All right. Now let's go to anyone else you want to mention before we go to the big four?
No, because we can talk about the big four. I think we should start with ScarJo.
You want to go to ScarJo first?
I think we should talk about ScarJo.
Taika?
Let's go Taika, then ScarJo, and then Roman and Thomasin, because I think that we have to mention ScarJo before we can even talk about like the latter third.
I didn't want to go Taika. I didn't want to go ScarJo before Taika.
Fair enough.
I think so Taika. I mean, first off, I've never wanted to laugh at Hitler. I've never wanted to enjoy Hitler for obvious reasons. But damn it, Taika was hilarious as Adolf.
Like,
hey,
Jojo. It's Taika being Taika, and like, when he offers him a cigarette, bro, Like
multiple
the first time
times.
he does it, the first time he does it, it's okay. I laugh. Like the third time he does it, and he's like, "What the hell is with you? Always offering me a cigarette? I'm 10."
No, I love the one part where they're like walking back and forth thinking, and as they're walking by, he goes, and Jojo goes, no, and just walking back and forth. And then the part where they go to attack to like not attack per se, but go after Elsa, and he's just in the corner going, that was frightening.
I think. What was it? What was the scene? Was it What Did She Say? Where he's like, she can't hear you. What did you say?
Oh, yeah. Or was that with Rosie?
Yes, that's with
Rosie. Yeah, and he was just yelling. Yeah, she can't hear you.
She can't hear you. And he just yells it louder. I'm just like, granted, nobody ever really wants to laugh at Hitler.
Yeah, as long as you can just say that's Taika in an Adolf costume, then you can enjoy it. Because I mean, let's face it, dancing Hitler was hilarious. Like the whole running.
Oh, dude, I died, bro. I was like, that is so perfect. If you're gonna make a satire, and you're just, this is the way you gotta do it.
That's the thing too. That's what I was worried about too. Is like with the trailers, I'm like, are we seeing the best of Taika? Because I mean, you had the introduction where he popped up out of the tree, and he's like, everyone made fun of me. Now look.
They said I was crazy. They said I was a madman. They said I was gonna get us all killed. And like he kind of lays it out right at the beginning of the movie.
Totally.
Like,
and then the whole running dance. You have the thing, which has basically become a poster at this point. You know, we're like, okay, is there more to it? Oh yeah. And it's like, is there more to it? And there's a ton more. The dialogue with him laying in the bed. Oh, I was just keeping the bed warm for you. Is that what friends do?
That's what friends do.
Yes. And then obviously like his gradual turn. Like he's fun and playful and super, super supportive of Jojo. Like even, and I'm not even gonna call him Adolf Hitler. I'm just gonna call him Taika. Yeah. Like that one moment when Jojo gets made fun of, and Jojo runs away crying,
and he helps him out and he talks to him about the
beautiful. Yeah, it's to take away the Adolf part of it. That is a beautiful moment between Taika and Jojo where he's like, "Be the rabbit." Rabbits are incredibly not smart and shifty and do all these things. Be the rabbit, Jojo. It's like, that's a beautiful scene. That's a great scene in context of it not being Adolf Hitler. But like just the scene itself is a great scene. And then running with him, like, I'm behind you all the way. Go do it. And then grenade. Shit. Boom. Shit. I was just like, oh crap. Like they really just fuck this kid up. And then like even when he's going to the hospital, you know, like Taika's there, you know, but then we get it's like, your horribly disfigured face. He says it so casually and nice, like, oh, thank you, Taika. but yeah, and then like I said, and then Taika starts to turn, and we go from the lovable, supportive friend to basically a demanding bully.
Very controlling almost.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that even then Jojo isn't buying it. Like even when Taika turns and starts to become actual Hitler in a sense, which that's the great thing too, is like we see from his character, he wants to be best friends with Hitler, and then once he actually in a sense gets real Hitler, Jojo's not having it.
He's like, no.
He's like, no, I'm over this. I got Elsa, you know. And it was a great turn because like I was like halfway through the film, I was like, so Taika's just gonna be this aloof Hitler throughout the entire film. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm totally okay with it. But then you're starting to say, I'm like, oh damn, we are actually going to get this turn of a character. I was like, how far are they gonna go with it? Because they could have gone even farther with it. But
they still went dark with it.
They did go dark, but I mean, they could have gone even darker. And even
he makes quotes from his speeches, and he does the hand movements, and like literally. And I'm just like, wow.
But the one moment that I personally loved is the last scene where he has the bullet hole
Okay, I thought I was the only one who picked up on that.
No,
He's got the bullet hole through the side of his temple,
and then you got the whole blood over here. It's like, because at that point, Jojo knows Hitler's dead because Yorkie told him. So he has this mindset of he shot himself in the head because that's what Yorkie said, and to change that quickly too, that's what he is. And even then, Adolf is disheveled at that point.
Yeah.
Like he is not. I mean, obviously he's not bubbly, but like even his clothing, he's kind of ragged a little bit. But yeah, that headshot, which was like, oh wow, it's like I can't believe they actually went that route with it. Like I'm glad they did, because it's like you're seeing the maturity of Jojo, even as a 10-year-old. Like you're 10 at your age. Like, that was a great line, even though it was an evil Adolf at that point.
Can I get one last hand? Can you have me with the
one? No.
One for the world?
Yeah, like I said, Taika. I didn't want to like the character. I didn't, but because Taika was. He did. I loved the character that Taika Waititi played. And this is someone who's not a fan of Korg. I'm not a Korg fan because I felt like Taika just gave himself all the best lines.
In all fairness, I can agree with you on that. I don't think that he was trying to play this role like he was trying to play Korg.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying he was. I'm just saying, like, from someone who the only experiences I have with Taika is Korg and what his character name was in What We Do in the Shadows. Those are the only two performances I've got of Taika in my brain.
You don't remember him in Martin Campbell's 2011 classic, The Green Lantern?
I don't. I only saw Green Lantern once, and
he plays Hal Jordan's best friend in that movie.
I didn't know. I don't even remember that. And I don't plan on going back to check. So that ain't happening. But yeah, Taika. And you know what? Taika could sneak with a nom as well, especially Golden Globe anyway. Because
definitely Golden Globe.
Because of the turn of the character. Because of the turn of the character, potentially. I wouldn't say give it over Rockwell because of Rockwell's powerful scenes, but like I said, in this year so far, there has not been that many performances that have really, they've all been fine, but no one ever really go, wow, okay, I really like that. Like the only supporting I think of right now that stands out is Jamie Bell in Rocket Man.
Okay.
I love Jamie Bell and Rocket Man. I can't really have, and not counting Endgame, because it's like it's Endgame. They're never going to get nominated. You know, it's like I loved them in it, but they're not going to get nominated.
They're also not making the push for it.
No, they're not. Which is, they should. They should. No, it's smart, but I feel like if they were ever going to get one, then this would be the movie to do it.
Well, yeah, but that's just it. This movie's not owned by Disney too.
True. It totally is.
Disney's not really trying to have the let's split our decision 4 ways game.
They're and since the popularity Oscar is not a thing, because that would win. But yeah, so like I said, Taika, great performance. Potential supporting actor nom, probably won't be by the time we get through all the Oscar films, but worthy enough to be in talks of it. If he was brought up, I'd be like, definitely he's warranted a nomination if he's given one. It wouldn't be one of those like, was it last year's Vice with Rockwell as Bush? I was like, I love Rockwell, but he did not deserve it over Steve Carell for Rumsfeld. Steve Carell got screwed.
Yeah.
It could not have gone to Rockwell. It should have gone to Carell. Whereas this year, yeah, like if they said Taika got nominated, I'd be like, all right, I can totally respect that decision. Same thing with Rockwell. Now let's go to ScarJo. First off, I love Scarlett Johansson.
Best single mother on screen since Ellen Burstyn.
Wait, what?
Best single mother portrayed on screen since Ellen Burstyn.
I mean, I don't see all her movies because some of her films just don't I'm like, I don't really care to see that movie. But
the majority of the audience really only knows her from
Black Widow.
MCU movies.
Yeah. I mean, I know her from when she was a kid and she was on there was this TV show. Can't remember what it was, but I know her from being on TV. Where she really was like, I mean, she was for her age, she was attractive, but she definitely
Accepted, right?
What?
Accepted?
No, this was like a wrong. I'm gonna look it up because that's gonna bug me. No, it was like a family. It was like a family drama. kind of show, and she was like the teenage daughter, the one that was just always kind of bitchy the entire time. Crap, where is it? She was in Home Alone 3. Oh, she was the older sister. She was the older sister in Home Alone 3.
Are you sure you're not conflating her with J-Law?
No, J-Law was the Bill Engvall show.
Yeah.
Why am I not seeing it? I know she played the daughter in the show.
We're editing this out, right?
Oh, no, I do this shit in. Sometimes this happens. She was in Eight-Legged Freaks. I can't find it. I can't find it. I'll find it after the episode. It's not important. Like I always love knowing that, like, oh, everyone loves, like, Ryan Reynolds, for example. Like, oh, I love Ryan Reynolds from Van Wilder. Really? I know him from when he was two guys that grew on a pizza place. He was amazing on that show. That's one of my favorite shows. It's like, so F all of you. Like, I was on the Ryan Reynolds train before all y'all know who he was.
Right.
But yeah, no. So like with Scarlett Johansson, like her scenes, even her introduction. Yeah. She walks in and just F's up Rockwell. This is great. That is a beautiful introduction to a character. Like, you don't know if she's just like this epic hard ass or if she's a loving mother, and then we find out that she's both.
Yes. And
then we find out that she's a spy, and she's just this, and she's trying to get Jojo to see both ways. Like, she's trying to get Jojo to just grow up. Like, she constantly is telling him, we're not gonna win this war. You need to get over this and grow up and stop trying to live in a fantasy world, which Jojo won't have it. And I think most of it, part of it too, is because he's so focused on it, is because he thinks his dad's a Nazi. If things could have totally different if he had known. But obviously you can't tell a 10-year-old that, because he could spell it to all of his friends. But I feel like that was the main push for Jojo to be a Nazi, was because his dad was a Nazi to him anyway.
And also it's 1944 in Germany.
True. And his friends are all, well, at least Yorkie. I don't know if he really had any other friends per se. But yeah. Well, we don't know. I mean, he was a very it seemed like he was more just like the dorky kid. Yeah, which he had Yorkie and that was it. But yeah, I mean, I love, like we mentioned earlier, the scene where he's like, I want my dad, and so she just goes and don't you ever, and it's like, oh crap, okay.
She goes and she has a conversation with herself, leaning up against the wall as both parents. I was like,
I'm sorry, that doesn't count. Great, and then you start dancing with herself.
Yeah. And
then she gets him to dance with her. It's a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful scene between Roman and Scarlett. Even their scenes when they're riding the bike.
Oh yeah, down by the lake.
Yeah, and then the constant tying the shoe.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
I think that's my favorite scene between the two of them. Literally when they're sitting down by the lakeside, and she ties his shoes together. And he falls over, and she's like, "Come on, man! What are you, drunk? Like,
I'll leave you. I'll come get someone to get you."
Yes. Like,
it was a great moment. Like I said, like, because with Scarlett Johansson, at least for most people, like you said, they know where's Black Widow. They don't see these sides.
No.
Yeah, I mean, for us who watch a lot of movies, we've seen these sides, multiples of Scarlett Johansson, but not a lot of people have. And I feel like this movie, if people go out to see it, are going to go, holy crap, Scarlett Johansson's phenomenal. And she deserves a Best Actress nomination, if not potentially a win. Like I said, we don't know what else is coming out later in the year, but she definitely deserves to be in the running. Now, let's go to the scene.
This is the most heartbreaking scene in a movie.
It's very, very, very rare for me to gasp when something happens. I usually, not that I normally can see things come from a mile away, but like even when it comes to horror movies, I'm not a jumper. Like if something startles me, if anything, I'll just lean closer going, oh, damn. Right. But I'll go, oh, and like we're just watching the scene. And then he just looks over and I'm like, wait,
shoes.
What? And I was just like, and my hands immediately went here.
No, like literally, I was watching it, and before we even like really talk about that, we need to talk about the fact that every time she comes on screen,
Shoes
the first thing they focus on is her red and white shoes.
Taika is 100% making sure you know those shoes. You need to know, because he is literally breadcrumbing you along the film, saying, you need to know this, you need to remember this, because it is going to be important, because we never see her face. We never see it. And that's what I was almost like, as it was happening, I was almost holding out hope going, look up, Jojo. It's not her. It's not her, Jojo. But then he sits there the entire time. I was like, well, he clearly has to know it's her by now. But yeah,
he looks up. That's the beautiful portion of that scene, I think, is like he's holding onto her legs and he looks up.
And he looks up more than once just to go, maybe I was wrong. No, it's not. And then he sits down and he stays with her.
You know,
for however long.
My hand went over my face and I was just like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, I'm a man that admits that I get teary-eyed at a scene. I'm not a guy who cries in real life at things unless it's like a death of a family member or a friend. But like movies get me.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm not like bawling, but I will definitely get like that Dean Winchester tear.
Yeah.
You know? And I was watching it just going, oh crap,
I Am Legend when Will Smith has to choke his dog out.
We don't want to talk about that scene. That scene is not talked about here. That's a horrible scene. Or when Andy says goodbye to his toys in Toy Story 3.
Andy says goodbye to his toys in Toy Story 3. I Am Iron Man.
Yes. How about this? We will do a separate show about man tears. And us, what's our man tear moments where we shed a tear?
I literally had to like run that scene from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Get back in there, tear.
Don't you show your face.
Like literally, I was just like, dude, that
scene broke my heart,
bro.
Because it went from a happy-go-lucky kind of fun film to oh crap, we just went there. And I think that it's sad. As much as they hated it, we needed it. We needed that moment. And that is
his darkest moment. That's literally the downswing on his character arc.
That's him finally. That is the glass shattering around
Nazi, not so much Nazi. Kind of falling in love with the Jewish girl. Kind of falling in love with the Jewish girl. Seeing it. Death of mother. Fuck Hitler. Fuck Hitler. Fuck Hitler. Fuck Hitler. Death of dad. Running away to Paris.
Not. Well, you got to remember though. Not fuck Hitler right away, because what does he immediately do when he gets home?
Oh, you're right.
He tries to stab Elsa, but he can't. I mean, he does. He does. But he does it on like the one side that's like okay to stab. But it's like because he's so angry, because it is in his mind it is Elsa's fault.
Yeah.
It's not, but it is.
Yeah.
But
in a 10-year-old's mind,
you're the reason my mom is dead. And for him to go and stab right there, but just not enough to, and Elsa not even fucking phased by the stab, and to then go and kind of console him.
Yeah, when he turns around, drops to his knees after he walks a couple of steps away.
There's the killer. There's that curve. But that scene itself is like, here are two young child actors. I mean, or slightly young to teenage, who can say so much. I mean, and there's no words outside of crying. There's no words in that scene, but there's so much in the scene. Like, and that's the thing, is that Elsa doesn't even know what's happened at this point, because she doesn't.
There's an inkling.
There's an inkling, but I mean, he literally just walks in and she starts to talk, and he goes for it. She doesn't know at that point. And but when he crumbles, it's kind of like, okay, she knows what's going on now. But like that's such a powerful scene. And even before that, the last scene we see of ScarJo is when she's talking to Elsa, and she's like telling her what a woman is. And she's like, "Did you do all those things?" And she goes, "No, I never looked a tiger in the eye."
that's what Tiger. Yeah, never looked a tiger
Yeah,
in the eyes.
look a tiger in the eye. And then she has that one picture of the tiger, and Elsa's looking at it. I was just like, and that's the last thing we saw, was basically ScarJo being a badass, in a sense. Saying that, no, I never looked a tiger in the eye, but I will, kind of thing. And then the next thing we saw was her shoes. And then at the end of the movie, Elsa's wearing her shoes. And Jojo ties her shoes.
Yeah.
Which I was like, and now we've come full circle to Jojo.
Yeah, we really have.
And it was a beautiful moment.
This movie, dude.
It's so good. It's so good. It's been 2-3 days now, and I just keep wanting to go back and see it. I keep wanting to see this movie again, and I want to like get everyone to go see this film because it's so good. And speaking, since we did kind of roll into it, let's talk about Thomasin and Roman, because they are kind of hand in hand in a sense. Yes. Elsa and Jojo. The part that killed me the most is when he's writing his book. When he wrote his book. I can't remember what the name of the book was anymore.
Juden.
Yeah, Juden. And he gets to a point, and it's just Nathan dying over and over and over again. And she's just
Nathan being crushed by an old-timey penny farthing bicycle. Bro, just Stephen Merchant's delivery of like all of the different ways that he's designed to kill Nathan.
And you see Jojo's just like, shit.
and you're like, oh my god, the teacher pulled your note in class and is reading it aloud, and you said some super embarrassing shit. And you can tell he plays it off so well. But these two have such a beautiful dynamic together.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, holy shit. Okay.
And then we get the, like, earlier in the film, we get the part where he writes the letter as Nathan. And he's like, I don't like you anymore. I'm also fat and have no job.
Yeah. I'm also fat and unemployed.
And then we see that, and then it was like, well, Elsa's obviously too smart to fall for this. But then we see her reaction, and I'm like, okay, well, she's not dumb enough to fall for that. But Jojo doesn't know. And then Jojo, like I said, because he's not he's putting on a facade of being an asshole. Yeah. When he's a generally good kid, feels bad.
And writes
another letter right away. Go, oh, I want to marry you again.
I don't want to break up with you because I don't want you to kill yourself.
No,
I'm still fat and unemployed.
but I still want to be with you. It's like such a beautiful little moment. And then she, and we find out later, because Nathan's dead, that this is her way of, even though it's not Nathan, it's a way for her to still kind of hear from Nathan in a sense. And like I said, and I like love, that's a great moment. Such a great moment. And it's one of those things too, where it's like, there's so many great moments in this film that like you said, are people going to actually pay attention to these great moments?
Right.
Or are we just going to focus on the Nazi part of it?
Here's the thing that I love about like that dynamic, the whole Nathan letters thing.
Mm-hmm.
When she finally tells Jojo that he's dead, he's like, well, then where did I get this note from?
I love that you, and then that's the thing too, is that note's also blank. It's just, yes. Why'd you even tear a paper? He like just tears a paper out and just starts blatantly reading it. And he's like, well, where'd I get this note from? Well, dude, the note's also blank, Jojo. Like, you blatantly just showed her a blank letter.
But it's definitely like something a 10-year-old kid would do.
Exactly.
And
a 10-year-old wouldn't think logically like
perfectly.
that. Yeah, it's it's layered so beautifully, and I can't wait till we get the rest of our group to watch this. Yeah. Maybe we'll do another video. We'll get them all to talk about it. I don't know. But or they'll just watch this and be like, okay, I agree with you guys. But yeah, it's just like I love these characters. I love how they go. Like I said, Roman as Jojo goes through a full character formation from where we get from the beginning to where we get him at the end. Elsa, she's playing this same character throughout, but we get more layers and layers and layers upon her. Like I said, the moment when she realizes that she said the date wrong. And she knows that it's over, and then even that one moment too at the end when she goes, "Is it safe to come out?" And Jojo goes, "No, it's not.
The Nazis won. Yeah,
we won. You're gonna have to stay here with me." Which for a 10-year-old, I get.
Right.
And even Elsa, I think, gets it too, but she's like, I'm not gonna let you off. Whack.
Right.
You know, like, and he's like, I guess I deserve that.
There's one smaller scene that I want to talk about,
What's
and it's
that?
coupled with like, so there's a scene where she draws what like a Jew, and it's just Jojo's disfigured ass face, and then she draws this beautiful picture of just this lady with
like the woman,
long
yeah,
hair.
yeah.
And she's like, it would look even better in color. And then while Jojo's out collecting tin scraps, he finds colored pencils. And he brings her colored pencils.
Yes,
and you're like, that is one of the most heartwarming things I have seen in a movie that is about to punch us right in the taint.
He's like, knock, knock, here. They probably don't even work. They're broken.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
No. It's just really, to me, he's like, this is him starting to not think about himself. This is him starting to think about other people and see that the actions that he's chosen, the path that he is on, will lead to a bunch of people hurting. And he has formed this bond just by talking for his book with her that he actually cares for her.
Which started with the letter. When he wrote that first letter and he realized I need to fix this.
Yeah.
For a 10-year-old, it's also pretty huge to man up to that. I also love the one moment too where she's like, oh, and Jews also like pretty things. And he goes, what about ugly things?
Yeah.
Clearly inkling to him because he sees himself as a monster now. And I was like, that was like, oh. And I don't think she mentioned it. She doesn't answer, does she?
She at any point, because he does it multiple times.
Yeah.
But like the last time he does it, he looks away from her and like she starts to grow this smile on her face. And I'm like, okay, there's this inkling of something that may or may not be there. Whether it's this, you know, granted, at the end, it ends up being this like
a brother
sisterly relationship.
You love me like a brother? Yes, like a brother.
I think personally, I think they were lying to each other.
Oh, they
are.
100%.
We're never gonna get a sequel to the movie, and nobody's gonna write Jojo Rabbit fan fiction.
He's 10, and was he like what, 17?
She's 17.
Yeah,
which doesn't make any sense because
Anakin and Padme.
Well, no. I'm not saying like that doesn't make any sense. Like if she was born the same year as her friend, 1929 to 1945, that's not 17.
No, she might have just said she was 17 at first to Jojo, kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we ever got a concrete how old she actually really was.
No, but like
probably
yeah. But if that's the case, she might have been a little bit older than his sister, which is one thing. But
maybe.
Like, you know, she remembers Jojo from a young age, and she even says it in the movie. But 1929 to 1940 is 11. Well, she'd be about 16.
Yeah, she's about 16.
17, depending on when her birthday was. So I mean, like it worked, but like there's this. I don't want to say romantic subplot, but there's a dynamic there, and you can definitely see it. They feed off of each other really well. Like they did an amazing job. I
agree. Now, here's the big question, because now we're going to this part of it. I almost forgot because we were talking about how much we love this film. Now, I kind of already said what my part of it was. Was there anything you did not like with the film? Because I know what your score is, so clearly there was some things that made you not give it like a perfect score.
You know what it really comes down to?
What's that?
Rebel Wilson.
So you loved Rebel Wilson so much, but then she's your negative.
I like her. My issue with her is her and Yorkie.
What about
Yorkie is very obviously a British kid. If he's not from Britain, he's from New Zealand. They have really similar accents.
Mm-hmm.
His accent drops in really thick a lot of the times, and so does hers. But that's about it. If they had maybe a better elocution coach, or Rebel Wilson actually tried, I can give a child a pass. But if you're an actor or an actress and you're trying to play a German person, then nail your German accent. I mean, even Sam Rockwell's drops every once in a while. But like that's really what it comes down to, and maybe that's what they were going for, just to like hit it a little bit on more the farcical side.
Yeah,
but that's really what it came down to, was just you're trying to play a German person, but your actual accent is coming through. That's why I gave it the score that I gave it and didn't give it a perfect 10 out of 10. But even the music in the background, the choices for every single one of the songs that they have is perfect. The I Want to Hold Your Hand in German is perfect. The Life song is perfect. They're just the music choice in general. And Taika's always been that person. Taika, in every movie that I've ever seen from Taika Waititi, his music choices are exceptional. They're always on point. But yeah, it really comes down to a Kiwi actor and a Kiwi actress not being able to hold a German accent.
Which at that point is nitpicking. Which, I mean, with a movie that we love so much, nitpicking is there. Like with me, like I said, my negative was the father angle.
Yeah.
You know, it's just because we never got a clear-cut answer on the father. And like I said, nitpicking for me was that the first 20 minutes was hard to connect to because of it feeling so pro-Nazi. Now, watching it a second time, obviously it's not going to bother me because I know what the movie is now at that point. So, I mean, really for me, the only nitpicky thing is the father. The father story. Other than that, I mean, I can't really think of anything off top of the head right now that I like or dislike. You know, maybe. Well, no, I guess we don't really find out what happens. I mean, we assume that they're all dead, but we never saw the end of Frau. No, Frau only got blown up.
Yeah, she got a bomb drop.
Got blown up. We never did see what happened to Finkel though.
I think he dies.
We just assume
obviously
he's not with Rockwell when Rockwell's captured. So we just go off the mindset that he's dead. Plus, did he have a gun? Oh yeah, he did. Cause he was doing this, and then he had the thing on the other hand. Yeah, so he did have a gun. But he was just kind of shooting like willy nilly. Like he wasn't really.
I'm not aiming at anything.
Yeah, it's like you can't shoot me. I got the music. Like the drummer guys back in like Civil War. Like
so here's the thing. There are a couple of movies that I've watched.
Yeah. That
obviously very heavily influence a movie like this.
What's that?
As I watched it like a week ago. Life is Beautiful, the 1997 Roberto Benigni film.
Oh, okay.
The satirical Italian one where they're in the concentration camp. The Producers.
Which one?
The original. Original Mel Brooks, The Producers.
Okay.
Springtime for Hitler. I think that's where they kind of took the dynamic for Finkel and Rockwell's character from. And then you have not necessarily a satire. It's more of a satire than it is like a funny look at it. But The Great Dictator, Charlie Chaplin, and these are three movies that very heavily take a lighthearted approach to Nazism and to World War II in general, and nobody really shits on those movies. But a lot of critics have kind of been like railing on this movie. But I don't think
a lot of them are railing on just because of the way today is now. Back then, compared to today, everyone is just so. They want to attack before appreciating. Like they attacked Joker before Joker came out, and it was just like, I mean, it's just like that's just the way the world is now. It's just like everyone wants to attack before loving something.
It's not even before loving something. It's we were talking about this earlier. Oh, I see Nazis, and that's automatically all I see instead of actually looking at what lies beneath.
Yeah.
This is what you see on the surface, and I'm not saying take a look at a Nazi and be like, oh, a Nazi is not a Nazi. But this isn't a Nazi propaganda film. This isn't a Hermann Goering fucking production here. This is you have a Maori Jew. His father's Maori, his mother's a Jew, and he's playing Hitler. If you don't think that that's not some of the most nonsensical type of farcical shit on the face of the planet, maybe you should actually watch a movie. Like, let's be real here. But I don't want people to knock a movie that they're never going to watch. Just because there's one thing in this movie that you disagree with, you automatically can't watch this movie because it might make a point and you're afraid to actually admit that a movie that you have thought so negatively of could actually do that. I
agree. I agree 100%. I mean, there are movies out there that I just don't want to watch that movie because of A, B, and C. But it doesn't mean that the movie's bad. It could be a great movie. Like
nobody's gonna say Schindler's List is a bad movie.
No,
Schindler's List is, AFI ranks it as still one of the top 100 movies of all time.
I know Schindler's List is a fantastic film. I just don't want to watch it. I'm not going to shit on it. It's just not my movie. Roma was a Best Picture nominee last year. That's not my kind of movie. I'm not going to watch it. It's not my kind of movie. I'm not going to bash it. I'm just not a silent film, black and white kind of movie film or person. So I'm not going to watch it. I mean, honestly, the one thing, and you're going to tell me, dude, you need to watch this, and I'm going to. Trust me, I'm going to. Everyone tells me to watch Train to Busan, saying it's one of the best zombie films ever made. But I'm not a big foreign film guy because I don't want to spend most of the time watching the subtitles and not watching the screen.
And cinematography in that movie is so good, you really don't have to watch the subtitles in order to get what's going on in that movie.
But I still like to know what the hell they're talking about.
Granted, it'll help. But
but yes, I will watch it. I promise you, Jay, I will watch this movie. I promise you.
How many times have I recommended you a movie and told you to watch it all the way through, and you've liked it? I've only told you to do that with 2 movies.
Yes.
I told you to do it with Jojo Rabbit
and Sing Street.
And Sing Street.
What we do with The Shadows too, so 3.
Okay, so 3 movies.
So
well, 4 movies. 4 movies.
What was the 4th?
Because you've watched 3 of them. You watched What We Do in the Shadows, you watched Sing Street, and you've watched Jojo Rabbit.
Is the 4th one Busan?
4th one is Train to Busan.
And
so
then
I'm shooting right now.
What the hell is that director? Japanese director. What's his name? Kurosawa. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna have to watch all the stupid Kurosawa movies. Well, not all of them, but the ones that you're.
And me and Kirk will get you to watch those Kurosawa films.
Yeah, and I will. I'm not gonna not. So, yeah, I mean, we kind of really went into overall thoughts, and we were kind of going through it the whole way through it. And to be really honest,
I really hope I didn't derail that. By the way,
no. Like I said, spoiler review. We're just kind of gonna go. I mean, we really did. We went off the handle, which is fine. I don't care. What is a spoiler review? I just want to discuss and talk about the movie, which we're going to do this with other movies too. And we're going to have other people, like I know like last week or two, Brian Michaels and I were on for Terminator Dark Fate. And we talked about that. And then I know you and Brian and potentially, Kirk, Andrew, the rest of the Movie Crusaders, we're going to pop on and we're going to discuss other films, not just new releases, but other films back in the day. Like I know one that I can't wait for us to talk about is Wolf of Wall Street, because that's going to be fun as hell to talk about. And obviously we have the Star Wars films coming up, where we are going to go piece or episode by episode talking about those films. So if you guys like this kind of talk, like this kind of just general movie, like a movie essay, it's a spoiler review, but we're deep cutting. We're going into this stuff. Then by all means, hit the like, share, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to do more of these. It's just more or less.
Comment, follow his Facebook page.
Exactly. I mean, we're going to do this more. But it's just, this was kind of our first time with Jay, and like I said, Jay and I, we see eye to eye on a lot of things, but we also disagree on a lot of things. But we both respect each other's opinions, no matter what it is. Like there are movies that he likes that I'm like, that's garbage. No, there are movies that I like. Yes, there are movies that I like that I'm like, he's like, that movie sucks, And Star Wars is going to be one of those things, because there's one Star Wars movie that I know he hates that I love. But we both love one that Kirk hates. so and that's going to come down the road, and you guys are going to, I hope, enjoy the hell out of that. But to be perfectly honest, Jay, I gave a score for this film in my non-spoiler review, and literally just sitting here talking about it with you made me go up further.
Yes.
It's like,
this is what I love about like reviewers' scores, is you can have one score for a movie, and then you can talk to somebody else who enjoyed the movie or who enjoyed different aspects of it, and you're like, no, dude, that was right, and your score will go up.
Well, because it's one of those things. It's like, so in my non-spoiler review, I gave this a 9.6 out of 10.
Okay.
Which was third on my list. I had Toy Story 4 at 9.8 at number 1, and I had Avengers Endgame at 9.7 at number 2. Now Endgame and Toy Story 4, they have flip-flopped for me throughout the year. I loved Toy Story 4. I know a lot of people are like, it was okay. I loved that movie. I thought it was.
I'm in that camp.
What's that?
I'm in that camp. I said I'm in the camp. It's still high for me. It's still in the 9s for me, but.
See, here's where I'm at right now. Because of what we were able to dissect with JoJo. And I've not really found anyone to dissect Toy Story 4 with me because everyone's kind of like where you are, like, I loved Toy Story 4. But part of me is like, am I loving it more and more just because it was a Toy Story film, or was because the actual film itself was fantastic?
The nostalgia factor that I've grown up with this franchise.
It wasn't even necessarily the nostalgia factor. I loved the Woody story, and I loved the hell was the name of the bad doll who ended up not being bad.
Gabby?
Yeah, I loved her character, and I thought that she was one of the best characters of 2019, and her arc was incredible, and I loved, obviously, Keanu Reeves and everyone else. Obviously, the big knock, yes, Duke Kaboom. Obviously, the big knock was that the rest of the crew was barely used in the film. Like, if there was a knock, that was the knock. And Avengers Endgame, it's Avengers Endgame. I mean, it's a masterpiece for what it's done, but like we've had discussions before,
it closes a very massive door.
Exactly, it's very hard to put. It's very hard to put a movie above that. And I did it with Toy Story 4 because, like, and you and I have had this discussion many times. I have a problem with Fat Thor. Not that he's fat, but it's that they make his fatness a joke, and that part is what picks me. Because I actually, the fat thing, I like, if you make it a PTSD thing, which is what it is, I'm okay with it because it makes sense for someone as mighty as Thor to let himself go because of what happened. Yes, but to make it a joke, that's what pissed me off about it. And then, of course, that whole diner scene with Professor Hulk. I hated that scene. With Hulk dabbing.
Come on, take a picture with him.
Hulk dabbing.
You just want to take a goddamn picture with me.
Was an automatic point deduction. Hulk dabbing was a point deduction right there because I hate the dab. Don't, Jay, I will kick you out so fast.
I'm doing it satirically.
So part of me is wanting to kind of do this, and I've never done this before, but Jay may have swayed me, is I'm debating on putting, I almost want to put Jojo up in front of Endgame, but I don't know if I can because it's Endgame. Like, I don't think anything's going to top Endgame this year for me. Because Endgame, I cried like 5 times, and one was out of just pure enjoyment. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe
On your left, yes.
that whole, the on your left scene, everyone started showing up. Like, I was literally like uncontrollable at that moment because I was just like, just utter happiness of what I was seeing. Like, I couldn't control myself. So that's obviously number one. I just can't. But I'm part of me is wanting to move Endgame to the number 1 spot and move Jojo to number 2 and Toy Story 4 at the number 3. That's the thing about rankings and reviews. They're always going to switch. You know, Joker's right fucking there too. And with Joker, I mean, the only knock about Joker, and you and I kind of talked, we were going to do a spoiler review, but it ended up just not happening on Joker, which we could always do down the road. Maybe we'll do it when it comes out. Because then we can actually.
I think we should do it on Blu-ray. I think we should do a commentary track on it.
Which we can definitely discuss that, and we can bring everyone else in too that was really into it. With Joker, the main thing was that it was not that it wasn't depressing, but it was just like you just didn't feel good.
Oh, no, that was definitely depressing.
Yeah, it's a depressing film. And like and then of course Rocket Man. I loved Rocket Man. And Peanut Butter Falcon, like those are my top. Those are like my top tiers for the year so far. But yeah, I think this talks made me move Jojo to the number 2 spot and made Toy Story 4 drop from 1 to 3. Damn you, Jay, for messing up my whole deal. And who knows?
I'll give you my quick 5.
What's your 5 right now?
Before I give you my score.
Because I know you haven't watched as many films this year as I have. And
I've watched a couple though.
You do, but you just don't get to watch them as quickly as I do. That's why this is the first time you're actually on here now, is because you actually watched this as quick as I did. Whereas most of you guys, you watch it like
this is the first movie this year that I've watched before you.
This was the first one you watched. Probably watched before me this year. Because more times than not, I've watched it. I'm like, all right, guys, who's watched it? Because I want you guys to do a show with me. They're like, oh, we're gonna like watch it like in a week or 2 from now. I was like,
eventually.
I'm like, well, damn guys, like it chapter 2. I wanted to do an chapter 2 spoiler review, and then none of you guys watched it the weekend it came out. But I mean, with Star Wars, we're all gonna do it. So I mean, that's 100% gonna happen.
My 5 is Long Shot.
which was in my top 10 at one point. It's in my top 15, I think, right now.
Actually, I'm gonna swap that out because I liked that movie more than what I had at number 4. What I had at number 4 was Shazam.
So you're going Shazam at 5, long shot 4?
Shazam at 5, long shot at 4. Joker at 3.
Okay. So we both have
Endgame at 2.
And Jojo 1.
Jojo Rabbit, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. You made a good point. Scores are always in flux. Mm-hmm. I personally had this at 9.5. I will take into consideration the only real big issue I had with this movie were people who didn't have a lot to say.
Yeah,
so it shouldn't take that far. It shouldn't take that much away from me. 9.8,
which is what I'm gonna have it at. You made me bump it from a 9.6 to a 9.8. So we're both going 9.8, which makes it very, very hard for remaining films this year to crack. Like, you basically have to be a 9.8 equal and then just be a little bit better, or you got to be a 9.9 or a 10, which is not out of the realm of happening. I mean, hell, last year I had Hereditary, Spider-Verse, and A Star is Born. Those three were like just there, and it was just on any given day, just depending on which one I felt in a more mood for, which is kind of where I was with Toy Story 4 and Avengers Endgame. Is that one day it would be Toy Story 4, one day it'd be Endgame, and last year was like that with those three. I mean, with what we got coming out later this year, I mean, unless like The Irishman or Ford vs. Ferrari or something that's like a film that I was not expecting blow us away. Because, I mean, Star Wars is going to be great, but is Star Wars going to be Endgame? Probably not. Let's be honest. Will be top 10, potentially. Yeah, we don't know yet. We're all excited for it, but yeah. So, but I mean, who knows? Who knows what it'll end up being? I would just be more satisfied with everyone enjoyed it than liked it, so everyone could just stop hating on it. But yeah. So.
I mean, that's the issue with fandoms in general, is fandoms breed toxicity regardless of whether or not you want it to. It's never going to not happen.
And that's the great thing about this film. There's no fandom. This is just a movie. And that's what's going to be that kind of big...
I know fans of Taika Waititi who will probably not like this movie. And I know people who have never seen a Taika Waititi film, maybe outside of Thor Ragnarok, who will absolutely adore this movie. And
like I said, but that fandom's not huge to the point where it's going to be. It's not like a Marvel, DC, Star Wars.
He's got 5 films under his belt.
Yeah, he's a growing director. He's a growing director, and he's just going to keep doing more and more. And he's got the next Thor movie, Love and Thunder. I'm never going to say Thunder. I'm always going to say Thunder. Because it's with the way you can't do it like that. But yeah, so we got a lot coming down the pipe. But like I said, guys, I think we wrapped it up. I think that's where we are with Jojo Rabbit. I mean, we could keep going, but
we got there organically too.
Yes, exactly.
Like we didn't have to force it. We don't have a producer telling us
wrap it up. No, this is my show. We go when we want to go. Hey, at least we didn't go over Endgame's runtime with the Endgame spoiler review that we did.
We would have had I been there.
I know you weren't there. You were, yeah. And then I felt so bad because we were halfway through that. And you texted me going, "What's going on, guys?" I was like, "Jeez," texting us, and we're all doing the spoiler review for Endgame. I felt so bad. But yeah, no. So like I said, I mean, I know this is a long review, but it's a great review. If you guys like this review, hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades, which if we get more and more of these guys on there, we might as well change the show to just the Movie Crusaders. Just kind of depends to see how much we get these guys in rotation, because I want this to be a family, not just me. And this is kind of the stepping stones to doing that. But if you guys hit that subscribe button, and also don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. And then, of course, I'm always going to get this wrong. Always. Oh, I'm never going to get this right. Right here, Jay Burnz. Jay, where can the people find you at if they want to follow you? Obviously, most of the people that watch us, they're part of a community, so they're probably already friends with you. But for the people that don't know you, if they want to follow you and kind of, follow Jay Burnz, where can they find you at?
If you want to see me share dumbass memes all the time, you can follow me on Facebook at @Burnz. If you want to see me post about my weight loss successes and failures, you can follow me on Twitter at @Burnz253, where your boy is down officially 52 pounds as of this morning. So, yeah, my fat ass is trying to bulk down from super fat ass to
lovably chubby.
He chunky, but he thick with 2 C's. You will never see me from waist down, so you'll never find out unless you meet me in person. You can follow me when I make stupid ass posts in Full Metal, where if you want to test your movie trivia knowledge, sign up for Thursday and Sunday's classics and see if you got what it takes to go toe to toe with some of the best in the semi-professional leagues of internet movie trivia. But other than that, you can find me if you know where to look.
Absolutely. Obviously, like I said, you guys see all the social media outlets before. You can also find me personally on Facebook as well. If you guys want to talk about movies, we're always going to be available to talk about movies. So, and like I said, feel free also, like I said, leave your comments down here. We want to hear from people who watched Jojo Rabbit. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What did it make you feel? Let's have an open discussion on it. If we get enough comments about this, we might do another video where we will basically kind of do a Q&A with some of the questions that people left in comments and kind of leave it as an open dialogue, because Jay and I would love to keep talking about this film. So feel free to comment like crazy, whether it be on here, whether it be on Sean's Movie Crusades on Facebook. Shout out to us. Let us know what you thought about Jojo Rabbit. But yeah, coming up soon, here in the next week or two, Star Wars. The Movie Crusaders ride through the Star Wars universe. Jay will definitely be here as we will start with episode 1, The Phantom Menace. That is going to be a very fun episode. Whether it be good or bad, it's definitely going to be a fun one. So for Jay Burnz, for Sean Wassacrew, in case we don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.